Alright, so I want to be clear at the beginning of this video. I really don't like making videos that are 100% negative. I don't. It's just not in me. It's not something that I find enjoyable. And it's not something that I sought out to do when I created my YouTube channel in the first place. Really, I just wanted to be able to make videos about games that I love. And I've given criticism in the past. I've said things on both sides in the past. But still, it's not like I enjoy saying bad things about a game that I love and that I'm invested in, especially one that, for a company that I used to work at, and I love the people there and we're still friends. It's something that doesn't give me joy. But the fact is that I've started this journey for creating, news videos about Bethesda, covering Fallout 76, covering Starfield. So when stuff like this happens, I can't just shy away from it. I need to cover the news and I need to provide my opinion. So what am I talking about? This week, it was meant to be Meat Week in Fallout 76, right? I can't remember the specific dates, but Meat Week was meant to be on right now. Unfortunately, there was an issue with Meat Week where rewards weren't dropping properly upon the completion of the event. There were numerous reports on Twitter and online in the Bethesda Discord where people were like, I'm not getting the proper rewards at the end of Meat Week. And this clearly wasn't working as intended. So Bethesda was onto it. They were trying to think of a solution for this. And unfortunately, they quickly realized that they couldn't fix it in time, that there wasn't a solution that they could implement right now. So what they did was simply cancel Meat Week. They have stopped the event, and in its place, we have gotten Invaders from Beyond. Now, Invaders from Beyond, don't get me wrong, it is a fun event. It's a new event. It's something fresh. And I'm sure that there are many people out there that hadn't gotten all the rewards from Invaders from Beyond, including myself. There's one that I still need to get. So I'm sure that there is a subset of people that are like, oh, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to play Invaders from Beyond. Totally get that, right? But I also know that there is a group of people that, one, are just upset that the event was cancelled in and of itself. And particularly I see this from newer players that are playing the game that have never played Meat Week or maybe only played it once and don't have all the rewards. We need to remember that there is a constant influx of new players in Fallout 76. All the time, especially because the game is being sold for cheap and it's on Game Pass for free, right? Well, for free. You have to pay for Game Pass, but you know what I mean. It's on Game Pass and all those subscribers can play it pretty easily. And I see even on my older videos, constantly new players saying, thanks for the guide, thanks for this. Like all the time, there are new players in that game. And that's, in my eyes, how it's maintaining a lot of its player base is because old players funnel out and new players funnel in. So for those players, the event being cancelled is a bit of a bummer, especially if they were looking forward to it and wanted to get some of the plans. But also too, I think it frustrates players generally, not just because Meat Week isn't on, especially because most of you probably have all the plans, right? Though you do use it as an XP grind, as a script grind. Most of you already have the plans, you don't necessarily care about that. But I think it's just representative of the fact that 76 isn't in the best place right now when it comes to new content, when it comes to events, and when it comes to maintenance. Unfortunately, that is a reality. When we see events just be cancelled because there was a bug that couldn't be fixed, it doesn't send the right message. It doesn't give players confidence that Fallout 76's future is bright, unfortunately. And I know there's been a lot of news about, Double 11 coming on board to create content for Fallout 76. They've already started that, but now they're like fully invested. It's been announced, and that's great. It's great to see that Bethesda still sees somewhat of a future in the game and that they're going to be dedicated to working on content. That is great, but we haven't seen those fruits bear yet. Like we haven't seen all of that come to fruition. So at the moment, it's hard to ignore and it's hard to avoid when these negative things happen and when we see big bugs and big issues just go unfixed and not actually be addressed. And I can't speak to how hard this particular bug was to fix. I can't. The fact is, Meat Week was an event that has played multiple times in the past over the years that hasn't had those issues. So the fact is, it's happened out of nowhere. Bethesda probably had no reason to suggest or to think that it would have issues this time. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, it does have those issues. Like maybe because the build of the game now, and they tried to bring back the event, something new that they've added, has just stuffed it up. Like that stuff happens in game dev all the time. Stuff happens with online games like this all the time. Like let's not pretend that this is just a Fallout 76 issue. But again, when we have a very small number of seasonal events that rotate, Fashion Day, Invaders from Beyond, Meat Week, the Mothman event, there's a very small number of them. So when we have that, and when we have big bugs continue to go being unfixed, and when we have other things like a lack of new content, especially as well, especially until the pit, when all of these things are happening all at once, it doesn't make players feel confident about the game. It doesn't make us feel good. It's not necessarily the fact that we can't play Meat Week. It's the fact that it kind of shows that at the moment, Fallout 76 is struggling. It is clearly struggling with a team that can't keep up with getting the new content out and with fixing big issues quick enough. If there was a big enough team working on this game, I'm certain that Meat Week probably would have been fixed pretty quickly. But the solution, it's just... the fact that the solution had to be to cancel the event is frustrating. It is frustrating for me. It is frustrating, and as someone that loves this game, and that wants to see it succeed. I've said this multiple times in the past before. I want to be able to stand from the fucking mountaintops and say Fallout 76 is an amazing game, and all of you that walked away were wrong. You were completely wrong. But when things like this happen, it's harder and harder for me to say that. And I've seen hardcore players that have staunchly defended Fallout 76 in the past. Even they are starting to admit, or have already admitted, that it's hard for them to defend instances like this. And what particularly frustrates me is that I know we're going to get hit piece articles and we're going to get people shitting on the game that don't care about it, that are not invested, and that are just using this as yet another opportunity to spread negativity about Fallout 76. They never cover the positive. They never cover the good things about the game. They will just pop their heads around and say, oh, look at this, 76 is having issues again, what a shit game. That pisses me off. But it also pisses me off that it's still valid criticism. So you can't just say, stop talking about the game, you don't know what you're talking about. Clearly there is an issue here. Clearly there are valid criticisms to be made here. But it just annoys me that we're just going to get that constant, influx of negative articles, and then they're going to move on, and then Fallout 76 players are going to go back to doing their thing. So I hate that. I'm disappointed that Meat Week is being cancelled. Again, not for the fact that the event is just being cancelled, but because it's something that shouldn't happen, especially when you have it on the calendar. It's a set date, people are looking forward to it, and it's not tested beforehand. Again, I understand that Bethesda probably didn't have any reason to suggest that it wouldn't work, but the fact is clearly it wasn't tested before it went live this time, and it doesn't say good things. It doesn't represent the game in a good light. It doesn't make anyone feel that this game is being cared for and is going to have a future. It's going to have a positive future. And I hope it still does. I hope the pit is amazing. I want that thing to blow it out of the park. I want the pit to set the platform and the foundation for Fallout 76 to continually add new locations. It can be expeditions, whatever other location. I've said I want expeditions Capital Wasteland, just as a hypothetical. I want the pit to be able to set that foundation. I want it to be able to succeed. But in the meantime, 76 players need stuff to do. They need events. They need new content. They need fresh things happening in the game. Eventually, the grind, as I've said before, it gets stale. Doesn't matter which game, doesn't matter how good it is. Eventually, if it's the same thing, it'll get stale. And this is why seasonal events are needed. So when we don't get them, for whatever reason, especially because if it's a bug that can't get fixed, it's disappointing. There is no other way to beat around the bush. You have to say that it's disappointing. So I hope that Bethesda can fix this sometime soon. I'm glad that they were reactive enough or proactive enough to add in Invaders from Beyond as a stopgap solution. But the more ideal situation definitely was fixing the issue quickly so people can play the event that they were looking forward to. So people can play the event that was on the events calendar. So those are my thoughts. I really, part of me does empathize with the team because they're great people. They're talented at what they do. They clearly don't want this stuff to happen. But I think it's obvious that, especially with 11 being brought on board, the team right now is struggling to keep up with these issues. They're struggling to keep up with investing new content into the game. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, this has been Lone. Please take care of yourselves. And would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.